Let me ask you something that might shake your whole world. What if the more you try to get her attention, the more you lose her? What if the more you try to make her feel something, the more she feels nothing? Sounds strange, right? Almost unfair. But let me take you inside the part of attraction most people never talk about. Picture this. You're standing in a quiet park. The sky is soft and blue. There's a small butterfly dancing in the air, and it suddenly lands on your hand. You feel amazed. It's light. It's calm. It's beautiful. So delicate. You don't want it to leave. So you close your hand just a little, then a little more. You're afraid. You want to keep it, hold it forever. But the more you try to hold it, the more it struggles, until flap, 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 it forces its way out. It's gone. You look at your hand, empty. You feel sad, alone, confused. You think, but I just wanted to hold on. What did I do wrong? Now listen closely. That butterfly is her attention. That butterfly is her desire. That butterfly is the spark you first felt when she smiled at you, when she looked at you like you were the only man in the world, when her eyes told you she was curious about you. You felt it, that little rush in your chest. Your brain started spinning with what ifs. What if she's the one? What if she's different? What if I don't mess this up? So what did you do? You tried harder. You called more, texted more, sent her little hearts, waited for her replies like a boy waits for Christmas morning. You gave her compliments. You gave her time. You gave her you, but slowly. So slowly you barely noticed it. Something changed. Her replies? Short. Her eyes? Distant. Her vibe? Cold. You panicked. So you did what you thought was the right thing. You gave more. You tried harder. You bent over backward just to keep her interested. But no matter how much you gave, she kept slipping away. And finally, it happened. She ghosted you. Gone. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. And you sat there, wondering what you did wrong. Why did she leave? I was so good to her. I gave her everything. So why wasn't that enough? Here's the truth, my friend. The truth they never teach you. It wasn't your kindness that scared her away. It was your need. You made her the center of your world before she ever earned that place. You gave, but you gave from fear. You chased, but you chased because you didn't believe you were the prize. And that is where it all fell apart. Because women don't fall for the man who's always available. They don't crave the one who gives everything without being asked. They don't stay for the man who has no direction except following her. They fall for mystery. They fall for purpose. They fall for the man who has a fire in his chest, a mission in his eyes, and doesn't need her to feel full. Let me be clear. This isn't about playing hard to get. This isn't about faking detachment or pretending to not care. This is about actually living a life that matters more than chasing someone else's approval. This is about emotional detachment, not from love, but from neediness. It's about becoming the man who's calm when others panic, who walks away when others beg, who creates space not because he's trying to make her chase, but because he's chasing something bigger than her. His vision, his greatness, his peace. And do you know what that does to a woman? It drives her crazy. Not because you're hurting her, not because you're playing games, but because you've become rare. You've become different. You've become the man she can't quite figure out and can't stop thinking about. So, my friend, stop chasing. Let her feel the space. Let her sit in the silence and wonder, why isn't he texting me? What's he doing right now? Who's he with? That space, that stillness, that quiet power is your secret weapon. When you stop talking first, something crazy happens. Let me tell you something wild. Silence can speak louder than words. Yep, that's not just a fancy quote. It's real. And most guys, they're scared of silence. They feel like if they don't keep texting, keep talking, keep saying, hey, how's your day? She'll forget about them. So they fill up the space with noise. More texts, more calls, more just checking in messages. But guess what? That noise doesn't pull her closer. It pushes her away. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone not text you back and it drove you crazy? You checked your phone over and over. You started thinking, what did I do? Did they lose interest? Are they talking to someone else? Your brain couldn't rest. That silence, that pause, made your mind spin with thoughts and feelings and fears. Now here's the twist. You can be that silence. You can be the space that makes her wonder. But only if you stop filling the air with constant chatter and messages that scream, please don't forget me. Because when you go quiet, not out of anger, not to play games, but because you're actually busy building your life, something amazing happens. She starts to feel you more. Not because you're doing anything flashy, but because your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Your silence becomes magnetic. Why? Because now you're not chasing, you're not proving anything. You're just being. You're doing your own thing. Focused, calm, grounded. And this is where the switch flips. This is when she starts to feel unsure. Not because you're trying to make her feel insecure, but because your energy has changed. You're not checking her stories every 5 minutes. You're not the first one to double text. You're not in her inbox with good morning every single day. And now, she starts asking herself, wait, where is he? Why hasn't he said anything today? Is he losing interest? Who's he with? Boom. She's thinking about you. Not because you chased, but because you stopped. That's the power of strategic absence. Not planned like a trick, but real, natural, powerful. And here's the secret. When a woman feels like she's the one chasing, something inside her wakes up. It's instinct. She starts valuing your attention more. Because it's not on sale anymore. It's not easy to get. It's not always there. It's scarce, and that makes it precious. Let me say it again. Scarcity creates value. Just like gold, just like diamonds, the less people can find it, the more they want it. So ask yourself, are you texting her like your worth is endless? Or are you living in a way that makes her feel lucky just to hear from you? Big difference. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you should ignore her forever. I'm not saying be rude or distant for no reason. I'm saying stop chasing. Let the silence do some of the work for you. Give her the gift of missing you. Because if she never gets a chance to miss you, she'll never feel how important you are. In the next stage, we're going even deeper. I'm going to show you how your purpose, your goals, your mission is actually the key to attraction. Yes, really. Because when a man's life is full of meaning, women feel it, and they don't want to be your everything. They want to be part of something that already means everything. Let's go. She wants to join your world, not be your whole world. Here's a truth nobody tells you. She doesn't want to be your world. Wait, what? That sounds crazy, right? All your life, you've heard things like, make her your queen. Give her everything. Show her she's the center of your universe. But here's what actually happens when you do that. She gets bored. She feels trapped. She pulls away. Why? Because when your life revolves around her, there's nothing left for her to discover. No challenge, no curiosity, no excitement. You've already handed her the keys to your entire world. And now, there's nothing left to chase, nothing to earn, no mountain to climb. That's not love. That's emotional suffocation. Now listen closely, because this is where it gets powerful. She doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to be part of a man's life who already has purpose. A life that's full of movement, growth, fire, direction. She wants to enter your world, not become your world. That means she wants to see you grinding toward your goals. She wants to feel your energy moving somewhere powerful. She wants to know that when she's not around, you're still moving forward, still climbing, still building, still becoming the best version of yourself. That's what makes a woman respect you. That's what makes her admire you, because now she doesn't feel like she's babysitting your emotions. She feels like she's watching a legend rise. She feels lucky just to be near your fire. You know what most guys do? They meet a girl, and they stop everything. They stop going to the gym. They stop chasing their dreams. They stop grinding. They drop their old life to orbit around her like a moon. But that's not love. That's neediness in disguise, and women can smell it from a mile away. She doesn't want you to need her to be happy. She wants to join you because you're already full of life, energy, confidence, and mission. That's what makes a woman chase you. That's what makes her stay. Because you're not waiting by the phone. You're not checking your texts every 5 seconds. You're out there, building, creating, evolving, and when she messages you, you're glad to hear from her. But you're not desperate. Why? Because your mission is bigger than her. Your mission is your fuel. And here's the twist. The more you focus on your life, the more she wants to be in it. The less you chase her, the more she chases you. The less attention you give away for free, the more valuable your attention becomes. That's not manipulation. That's alignment. She wants a man who's centered in himself, who doesn't fall apart when she's not around, who doesn't beg for her love, but instead invites her into a world she never wants to leave. When you stay calm, she can't look away. You ever see a man standing in total chaos, but his face is calm, his eyes steady, and his energy doesn't move? That man has power. The world could be falling apart around him. His phone could be blowing up. People could be yelling, crying, storming out the door. But him, He just sits there, strong, quiet, and still. And guess what? She can't stop looking at him. Because deep down, every woman is drawn to that kind of emotional control. Not fake calm, not acting cool. Real calm, real mastery. See, most men get dragged around by their emotions. One mean text, boom, they lose it. One bad mood from her, they're panicking. She gives a cold reply, they start begging, explaining, trying to fix everything right away. But here's the truth. The man who keeps his cool is the man she respects, because calmness equals strength. Not coldness, not silence, just a deep feeling of I'm okay, no matter what. That feeling, it pulls her in like gravity. You don't need to yell. You don't need to chase. You don't even need to argue. When you stay emotionally calm, you win. Let me tell you something wild. When a woman sees a man who stays steady while she's emotional, she feels safe. Yes, safe. Even if she doesn't say it out loud, she can feel your solid energy, like a wall she can lean on. That's rare. Most guys collapse. They get nervous. They start trying to make her feel better, just so they can feel better too. But you don't flinch. You don't force anything. You don't explode, or beg, or rush in. You just breathe. You feel your feelings, but you don't let them control you. And guess what? Now she starts to question herself. Now she starts chasing, because she feels that mysterious calm around you, and she needs to figure it out. Why doesn't he get nervous like other guys? Why does he feel so solid, like nothing shakes him? Why do I suddenly want his attention so bad? It's not a trick. It's not a tactic. It's the power of stoic calm. It's the strength of a man who doesn't get owned by emotion. He feels it, but he stays grounded. That's rare. That's magnetic. That's masculine. And most important, it's real. In the next stage, I'm going to show you how scarcity, being less available, multiplies your value in a woman's eyes, even if you say nothing at all. It's not about ignoring her. It's not about being rude. It's about something much deeper, and it flips attraction upside down. Why scarcity makes her chase, even if she doesn't understand why. Let me ask you a crazy question. Why does something suddenly feel more important when it's not easy to get? Think about it. If everyone could walk into a store and buy diamonds for $5, would they still be special? No way. But because diamonds are rare, hard to get, and not for everyone, people chase them, obsess over them, pay big just to have one. Now let's flip it. What if you became the diamond? Not in looks, not in money, not in trying to show off, but in your energy, your time, your access. Most men give everything up front. Fast texts, long replies, always saying yes, always there. And guess what? That kills mystery. It kills value. It kills attraction, because now you're everywhere, which means you feel common, which means she doesn't feel that pull. But here's where it gets wild. The moment you step into scarcity, not by playing games, but by focusing on your life, she feels it. She may not understand it in words, but something deep in her starts to notice. Wait, where is he? Why isn't he around all the time? Why do I miss him more when he's not even trying? That's power. See, when you stop giving unlimited access, your presence becomes a gift. A moment with you becomes valuable, not just available. Let me say that again. Valuable, not available. Most men are like fast food, always open, always trying to serve, always trying to please. But you're like a rare, beautiful restaurant with a hidden entrance. She doesn't even know how to book a table yet, but now she's hungry, curious, chasing the experience. That's the power of living your life and letting her notice your absence. Not on purpose, not with a plan, but because you're doing things that matter more than sitting around texting a girl who isn't sure about you. You've got your own path, your own purpose, and now your time feels like treasure. Suddenly, she's the one wondering how to earn a spot in your world. That's how emotional scarcity works. That's how a man builds attraction without saying a word. The silent power that makes her feel safe, even if you say nothing. Let's flip the script for a second. Have you ever noticed this? Sometimes when a man says nothing at all, the room gets quieter, people pay more attention, and women feel something they can't explain. It's not fear, it's not danger, it's security. But how? How can silence, calmness, stillness actually make a woman feel safe? Here's the secret. Most men talk too much because they feel nervous. They rush to fill every space. They try too hard to impress. They can't sit still with their own thoughts, so they flood the room with noise. But a man who's mastered his emotions, he's not in a rush, he's not chasing attention. He doesn't need to prove anything. And that's when women feel something powerful. Because deep down, every woman is watching for one thing. Can I relax with him? Can I breathe here? And guess what? She can't relax around a man who's always chasing, always emotional, always needing her to feel better. That's not strength. That's pressure. But when you're calm, when you can stay cool, even when she's upset, even when things are confusing, even when it would be easy to explode or beg or run away, she notices something rare. This man can handle life. This man can handle me. It's like a warm fire on a cold night. She wants to sit near it. She feels pulled to it. Not because it's loud, but because it's stable. See, emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you control what you feel. You don't panic. You don't overreact. You don't need anyone to hold your hand. And that right there, that's what makes you different. She's used to boys who explode when they don't get attention. She's used to weak energy that crumbles the moment she gets cold. But you keep your center and that quiet, grounded presence. It hits her harder than any compliment, any pickup line, any text message. It's not the words, it's the vibe. It's the way your eyes say, I'm good either way. It's the way your body says, I'm not here to beg, I'm here to live. That's what drives her crazy. Not because you're trying to get her, but because you're not trying at all. You've already got peace. You've already got purpose. She's just now realizing she wants to be near it. What happens when your purpose becomes bigger than her? Okay, stop everything for a second. What if I told you the thing that makes her chase you is the moment she realizes she's not the center of your world? That sounds harsh, right? But listen closely. This is where everything changes. Most men make this huge mistake. They meet a woman, feel excited, feel wanted, and boom, Suddenly she becomes the mission, the obsession, the new reason for waking up. But here's the truth she won't tell you. The moment she becomes your whole world, she starts losing interest. Why? Why does that happen? Because women don't want to be your whole world. They want to be a part of a man's world that's already in motion. Let me say that again. Because it's everything. They want to be invited into a powerful life, not become the reason that life exists. There's a huge difference between being valued and being worshipped. When you make her your everything, she starts to feel trapped. She starts to feel pressure. She starts thinking, wait, if I'm the only thing giving this man meaning, what happens if I leave? That thought, it makes her pull away. It makes her feel heavy. It makes her lose respect. But when she sees you chasing something bigger than her, when she sees you waking up with fire, focus, and direction, she feels something else. She feels drawn to you. She feels like she's stepping into the story of a powerful man. A man who doesn't need her to feel whole, but chooses to share space with her. That's rare. That's attractive. That's what flips her mindset from, do I even want this guy? To, I don't want to lose him. You see, men who walk with purpose, they're harder to distract. They don't chase. They don't beg. They don't fall apart when a text goes ignored. They just keep going, with or without her. That's the mindset that builds empires. And deep down, every woman wants a seat on that ship. The one that's already sailing, already focused, already destined to reach somewhere great. So here's the mind shift you need. She's not the treasure, you are. And your purpose, that's the map. And the second she sees it clearly, she starts wondering how to earn her spot in your adventure. Coming up in next stage, we'll reveal something even deeper. The subtle aura that forms around you when you stop proving and start just being. You won't want to miss it. The invisible energy she feels, even when you say nothing. Wait, have you ever walked into a room and felt someone's energy without them saying a single word? Like, they didn't even look at you, but something about them made you sit up straighter. Yeah, that's not magic. That's aura. And guess what? When a man becomes emotionally detached, not cold, not mean, but calm, solid, and still, he glows. But in silence, women feel it. Before they even understand what it is, it's the way you carry yourself. The way you walk into a place with no rush, no need, no hunger in your eyes. You're not chasing. You're not trying to impress. You're not hoping for attention. You're just there, like a mountain. And here's what makes that energy so powerful. It shows you are safe inside yourself. You're not reaching for outside approval. You're not shaking when you're alone. You're not emotionally spinning every time a girl pulls away. You're centered. And that is rare. Most people are leaking emotion, trying to be seen, heard, validated. But a man who isn't seeking anything is the one who gets everything. Women feel that. Even if you say nothing, even if you don't text first, even if you walk away with a smile instead of a fight. Because when you're emotionally detached, you stop overreacting. You stop arguing. You stop fearing what happens next. You become a mystery wrapped in peace. And that makes her curious. Why doesn't he chase me like the others? Why does he seem so sure of himself? Why do I want him even more now? This is when her mind starts running wild. She can't explain it. But your aura is doing all the talking. You don't need a pickup line. You don't need fancy clothes. You don't need to post anything online. Your vibe becomes your message. And your message is simple. I am enough, with or without you. That kind of calm, that kind of self-control, it drives her crazy in a way she'll never admit out loud. And what's wild is, the more peaceful you become, the more emotional she gets. Because now, she wants your attention. She wants to break your silence. She wants to know what's going on behind those quiet eyes. And that, my friend, is power without effort. Why emotional detachment makes you untouchable, and she feels it. Have you ever seen a man who doesn't flinch? Like things around him could be falling apart. People could be yelling, gossiping, breaking down. And he just stands there, still, calm, collected. Not cold, not heartless, but solid, like stone. It's like nothing can touch him. No chaos, no games, no drama, not even her mixed signals. That right there is what emotional detachment gives you. It makes you untouchable. Not because you don't care, but because you've trained yourself to care wisely. See, when most men feel a woman pulling away, they freak out. They panic. They send the double text, the paragraph, the late night, I miss you. They react. But a man who has emotional detachment, he does something shocking. He pauses. He breathes. He lets it be. He says nothing. Because he knows that peace is more powerful than pressure. And guess what? She feels it. Women notice it instantly when a man doesn't lose his cool. It's confusing, but so attractive. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Why is he so hard to shake? What does he have that other men don't? The answer? He has his center. And no woman, no matter how beautiful, can take it from him. That's why detachment is not weakness. It's not giving up. It's power. It means you've learned to stand strong inside your own mind. You've trained yourself to watch your emotions, not become them. You don't beg. You don't explain. You don't fold under pressure. You stay grounded. And that makes you feel safe to yourself and magnetic to everyone else. Here's the crazy part. Once you stop letting her moods decide your mood, she starts chasing yours. Because now your silence means something. Your time means something. Your words carry weight. You're not available 24/7. You're not reactive. You're a fortress. And that, my friend, is what makes women not just interested, but hooked. So the next time you feel heat rising or your emotions bubbling up, pause, breathe, detach, because your peace is your power, and power is what she truly respects. Final stage is next, and we're closing it out with a bang. The final shift that turns emotional detachment into unstoppable, long-term attraction. Don't miss it. The silent magnet, why she feels you, even when you're not around. Let me ask you something deep. Have you ever walked into a room and felt someone's energy before they even spoke? You didn't see them trying. You didn't see them chasing. You didn't see them begging to be noticed. And yet, all eyes slowly turned toward them. Like a silent magnet, they just pulled attention. That right there is the final power of emotional detachment. It creates an aura. Yes, an aura. Not the mystical kind, but the very real energy that surrounds a man who doesn't need, but chooses. He chooses when to speak. He chooses when to show up. He chooses what to feel and what to let go. And that's what she feels, even when you're not in the room. See, most men are chasing presence through pressure. They flood her phone. They check her stories. They leave comments. They pop up where she is, just hoping she'll notice them again. But the detached man, he doesn't chase presence. He becomes unforgettable through absence, not because he's playing games, but because his life, his vision, his purpose, they take priority. He's not trying to remind her of who he is. He's out there becoming someone impossible to forget. And here's the shocking twist. She starts to dream about you when you're not trying to be in her dreams. She starts to crave the quiet man who doesn't need to explain himself, because your silence now has power, and that power haunts her thoughts. Why? Because women remember how you made them feel, not what you said. And when your detachment creates mystery, calm, confidence, she replays your presence again and again in her own mind. That's the power of becoming the unreachable presence. You don't just enter her life, you live in her memory. So from this day forward, walk with stillness, lead with purpose, speak less, and mean more. And let your emotional detachment do what chasing never could. Make her miss you, want you, and never forget you. Because the man who doesn't try to be remembered becomes unforgettable. That is the emotionally detached aura that drives women crazy. The world told you to beg, to prove, to please, but your true power was in your stillness all along. Let her feel it in your absence and watch her come alive in your presence.